Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another lecture dito sa Developmental Psychology. Today, we're gonna talk about the period of infancy. Pero bago tayo pumunta sa infancy, I just want to give you a picture the moment shortly before infancy, yung panganganak ng mother. Did you know that the human body can bear only up to 45 del unit of pain? Ganun pala ka yun, no? Ganun lang yung limit for pain. Yet, at time of giving birth, a mother feels up to 57 del unit of pain. Similar daw yon to 20 bones getting fractured at a time. Ganun pala kasakit yung pinagdaraanan ng mga moms, no, in giving birth. So, ang point lang ng slide na to is we need to give appreciation to our mothers, no, that they underwent this pain para ipanganak yung isang bata. You know, so all children must really express gratitude to their mothers. Okay? So anyway, yun yung nangyayari shortly before infancy. So when the baby is born from the mother's body, lumabas na siya from the mother's body, then we enter infancy. Technically, from age 0 to 2 years old, ang tawag sa'yo dito is baby or infant. So kung meron kayong mga boyfriends or girlfriends, tapos ang tawag nyo sa kanila baby, technically mali. Okay? So wag nyo tatawaging baby kasi nga from 0 until 2 years old lang ang pagiging baby. Okay? Now for this lecture, I just want to share with you the major concepts that all psych majors should know tungkol sa infancy. Kasi ang kultura natin marami din namang alam tungkol sa babies, no? But the following details that I'm going to share in this lecture are the things that are psychological in nature na dapat alam talaga ng mga nag-aaral ng psychology, especially if you are within the field of developmental psychology. So, let's start with the infant brain. Yan. Let's talk about the infant brain development. Infants, they sleep a lot. Approximately mga 16 to 17 hours of sleep, and the reason is nag-grow yung brain during this activity of babies. Specifically, nag-i-increase yung neural connections. So inside the brain of the baby who is sleeping 16 to 17 hours a day, habang nagmamature siya, dumadami yung neural connections. And these neural connections are important to be established because later on, this will translate to different cognitive abilities. So, kailangan talagang mangyari yung mga neural connections na yan while the baby is sleeping. For example, para magkaroon siya ng capability to process language. Para makaintindi siya ng language, para makapagsalita siya ng language, kailangan niyang neural connections na yan. Or later on, maka-establish siya ng theory of mind, the ability of the baby to see the perspective of another person, which is a very important psychological milestone in a baby's life. Para mangyari yung dalawang yan, again, kailangan ng neural connections na nangyayari habang ang baby natutulog. Another important factor that can support the brain development of the baby is breastfeeding. Mahalaga yan. So studies after studies have shown that babies who are breastfed, mas nagiging maganda yung development ng brain nila, which can later on translate to higher levels of IQ. If you want more details, you can just read this article. This is only one of the many articles na nagpapakita talaga ng magandang epekto ng breast milk sa IQ ng baby. Okay? Another important thing, no, in connection to the baby's brain is brain health. Paano natin malalaman na healthy ang brain ng baby na walang mga neural damages? We look at the infant reflexes, which are already present during infancy. And just for you, no, for your information, reflexes are handled by the lower regions of the brain. So, yung mga reflexes, ito yung mga physical actions natin that is beyond our control. No? Hinahandle yan ng lower brain regions, and it's important to check whether these reflexes are present in a baby. Kasi, the more reflexes the baby show, it indicates na healthier yung brain. And vice versa. Kapag merong mga key reflexes that are not seen that the baby is performing, most likely merong brain damage. And what are some of the common reflexes in infancy na dapat meron siya that will indicate healthy brain? Of course, nandiyan na ang sucking reflex. Anything that you put in the baby's mouth, they will automatically suck as a reflex. Dapat meron siyang rooting reflex. Ibig sabihin, kapag stimulate mo yung cheek ng baby, as a reflex, the baby will be going to the stimulation through his mouth. So, ifa-follow niya yung stimulation with the mouth. So, stimulate the baby here, follows with the mouth. Stimulate baby here, follows with the mouth. Ang tawag doon, rooting reflex. Meron din silang grasping reflex. When you place your thumb or any of your fingers inside the baby's palm, they will automatically squeeze your finger. Grasping reflex yon. Stepping reflex, you place the baby this way, you create contact between the baby's legs and the ground. They are going to do automatic stepping actions. Stepping reflex ang tawag doon. Also, did you know that from age 0 to 1 month, smiling is also a reflex. So whenever you see a baby smile, ano lang yan, no? This is the byproduct of the lower region of the brain. Hindi totoo yung cultural belief na nilalaro siya ng angel niya. Di ba sa mga Pilipino, no, may ganun tayong paniniwala, kapag yung baby nakasmile mag-isa, nilalaro siya ng angel niya. In the scientific perspective, this is just lower regions of the brain working. Ang mga babies, meron din silang mga swimming reflex or floating reflex. Well, we're not surprised because they spent the last months, 9 months of their lives, technically surrounded by water, by the amniotic fluid during the prenatal stage, no? So nasusustain nila yung ability nila to survive being surrounded by water. Yan. So when you put them in a body of water, meron silang automatic swimming reflex. Hindi ko sinasabing hindi sila nalulunod, no? They do drown, but they have a first line of defense from drowning. Okay? So, ano yung mga implications ng mga reflexes na yan? One implication is, the default of our psyche is to survive. Kasi ang nature ng reflex, it increases our survival value. Tumataas yung chance that we survive the environment. Kaya tayo binigyan ng reflex. So, the fact that babies already have reflexes, number one, ibig sabihin, infants are not empty slates. When we were born into this world, meron na tayong parang app, no, or program that push us to survive our environment. So we go towards life. Yan ang nature ng mga tao, okay? Kasi nga, nature has given us the ability to survive via the reflexes. And number two, as I mentioned a while ago, no, it means we gravitate towards life. So, hindi totoong wala tayong laman as babies. Number two, isa sa mga laman natin, no, is to gravitate towards life. We want to survive. Now, in connection to this, number two, we gravitate towards life during infancy. Trivia, did you know that these reflexes are already present during the prenatal period? Studies have shown that. In modern prenatal research, yung mga reflexes sa infancy, na-carry over lang yan from the prenatal period. So, ibig sabihin, inside the mother's womb, meron ng mga reflexes. And if you connect that idea to number two, that this is an indication that we gravitate towards life, then what does that mean? It means that prenatal period is a period where the person is already alive. And we talk about that in other lectures. Kahit zygote man yan, embryo man yan, fetus man yan, buhay na yan. Okay? And the Bible, even the Bible, looks at the prenatal person already alive. Diba? Luke chapter 1 verse 41 is a very good reference for this. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, what happened? The baby leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. So the baby inside the mother's womb is already alive, which qualifies this person to have the right to life. Meron na siyang right to live. Diba? So it's a human being. The person inside the mother's womb is a human being, And that human being is alive. Kasi sa DevPsych, medyo nagkakaroon ng confusion dyan. Some people say, hindi pa human being yan, hindi pa alive. May mga nagsasabi naman, human being na yan, pero hindi pa yan alive. May mga nagsasabi, weird as it sounds, alive yan, pero hindi pa yan human being. Okay, so lahat yon dinidiscredit na natin, parehong totoo yan. Human being yan, at yan, buhay. So meron siyang right to life. So anything that you do during the prenatal period that you terminate the life of that person inside the mother's womb, you know kung anong implication yan. It's considered as killing a human being. Alright? So anyway, that's all about the infant brain. So kung meron kayong mga questions, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section or some other comments. Now, let's move on to infant memory. Yan, maganda rin pag-usapan ng infant memory. Did you know that babies already have memory? They can already remember. Contrary to the popular belief that babies don't remember anything, in fact, mag-backtrack pa tayo, infant memory already starts in utero. So, the same principle, prenatal pa lang, meron ng form of memory. How did we know? There was a study done by De Casper and Spence. Naghanap sila ng mga mothers na buntis, yung advanced trimester na yung malapit na lumabas yung baby. And then in a laboratory, these mothers regularly read certain passages from a book ni Dr. Seuss, The Cat in the Hat. Yan. So regularly, nagbabasa yung mga nanay ng mga words coming from that book. And then fast forward, nung pinanganak na yung mga babies nila, there were times that these babies were read the exact passages that was read to them by their mothers when they were still inside their womb. At ano ang nakita nila? Babies tend to remember those passages that they've heard before when they were inside their mother's womb. Nakakaalala pa sila. Naaalala nila yung passages coming from this book, which again proves that memory starts in utero, it just continues in infancy. Now, although babies can already remember, what they remember is very limited. May mga limits yan, no? Like what? The following are the limits in infant memory. Number 1, meron silang tinatawag na infantile amnesia. They have the inability to remember life episodes during the first 2 years of life. So, wala kang maaalala na mga nangyari sa'yo the first 2 years of your life. Blind yung memory mo from that. Wala kang episodic memories for that. And the explanation is bakit ganon? Kasi yung hippocampus mo at yung prefrontal cortex mo are still very underdeveloped. Hindi pa enough yung kanilang neural connections to absorb episodic memories. Because remember, the brain of babies are so small. Ano pa lang, no? Sabi nila, 1/3 of our adult-sized brain. So, it's still a long way to go for the baby brain, for the infant brain, before it achieves full development. Ang prefrontal cortex kasi at ang hippocampus, very important yan to absorb episodic memories. So, the fact that these parts are still underdeveloped, ibig sabihin, hindi pa nila nakaka-capture yung mga memories, yung mga events that happen during the first 2 years of their lives. Another limit in infant memory, yung tinatawag nating object permanence. So, ang mga babies, wala pa silang object permanence. This is their ability to maintain the object or the image of the object in their minds even if they don't see the object, which is a very important indicator that your memory is working. Kapag pinakitaan ka ng isang object, let's say, this one, pinakita ko sa ito, yan, tapos tinago ko, dahil may object permanence ka na, you can still remember the image of the phone I showed you. Diba? You can still remember certain details about the phone. Anong color ng phone, anong oras yung lumabas, ano yung wallpaper. Kahit hindi mo nakikita yung phone, alam mo na yun yung itsura ng phone kasi meron ka ng object permanence. But babies don't have that. Diba? Wala pang ganun yung mga babies. And how do you test that? In infant laboratories, yan, papakitaan mo sila ng toy, and then they're gonna play with the toy, And then while they're playing with the toy, you cover the toy with something like this. And then what? Infants, dahil wala pa silang object permanence, they will not look for the toy. Kasi ang interpretation dyan is, hindi na nila maalala that there was a toy in the first place. Ang tawag doon, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see something, then it must be gone. So, hindi na nila hahanapin yung toy that they were playing just a while ago. Okay? And so, as the baby matures, shortly before he or she enters the first birthday, magkakaroon na ng object permanence. So, ang mangyayari doon, they play with the toy, you cover the toy, dahil naaalala nila na meron silang nilalarong toy, meron na silang object permanence, they will going to look for that toy. So, aalisin nila yung obstacle, aalisin nila yung piece of carton or piece of cloth that you use to cover the toy with. Kasi alam nila, kahit hindi nila nakikita yung toy, there is a toy somewhere in their environment. Yun yung achievement nila. Yun yung developmental milestone when finally, magkakaroon na sila ng object permanence. Okay? So what can babies remember other than those limits in memory? Number one, they can remember their parents' voices. Yan. So nare-recognize nila, no? Yung boses ng daddy, yung boses ng mommy compared to boses ng strangers. So most babies, when they hear voices of strangers, they get scared, they get anxious, yung ibang babies umiiyak. Number two, they also remember their parents' smell, especially mothers, kasi siya yung nagpapa-breastfeed. Merong unique smell, no, yung breast ng mother that the baby knows that breast is his or her mother. Kaya kapag ang ibang nanay ang nag-nurse sa baby, some babies would really cry. They would feel anxious because that's not the smell that they recognize. Number three, they also remember some objects. In fact, they already have favorite toys. For those of you who have seen babies play toys, no, meron silang mga favorite toys. So, naalala nila na itong toy na to, ito yung pinakamaganda compared to all the other toys that the baby has. And, of course, number four, they remember people's faces. They even remember facial expressions. In fact, sabi nga dito sa slide, no, did you know that babies, by nature, they prefer to see human faces? Natutuwa sila kapag yung madalas silang nakakita ng mukha ng tao. It naturally captures their attention. That has been repeated over and over again in laboratory studies. You show a baby a toy versus you show them a human face, they will be more interested with the human face. And what's amazing is they don't only remember human faces, they can also reproduce or react. No, not react. They can also imitate human faces that they see at a very young age. Nalaman niya ni Andrew Meltzoff in his very popular experiments. And based on his experiments, yun yung naging conclusion niya, no, that babies are really social creatures. Human beings in general are wired to be connected with each other. So, paano ginawa ni Andrew Meltzoff yung experiment niya? So, this is the young Andrew Meltzoff. So, ngayon kasi medyo matanda na siya, no? Yan. Ito siya noon. And then randomly, he would be expressing certain faces to a baby, less than 1 year old. So, random lang yan. So, didila siya ng ganyan. Tapos, i-open niya yung mouth niya, papakita niya sa baby, and then ngunguso siya ng ganyan, papakita niya sa baby. And then, according to the report, at certain times, when babies are alone, without any stimulation from the external environment, ano mangyayari? Randomly, the babies would reproduce the face that Andrew Meltzoff showed them. Take note, walang external stimulation, ha? All by themselves lang yan. So, which means, there is an existing memory inside the baby's brain na ginagamit nila. Kasi naalala nila na nakakita sila ng ganitong face and then they reproduce it. Diba? Kaya nga, itong capability natin na to, no, to produce human faces, to recognize human faces is a very important foundation for human relationship. That's one of the interpretations. Bakit tayo merong ganyang capability? Because we are wired by our Creator to be connected with other people. We are indeed social creatures. Kaya anything that you do to disturb that tendency that we have to connect with other people, hindi maganda for our psyche. And also, red flag din kapag yung baby hindi nagagawa yan. If the baby does not maintain eye contact, if the baby does not react to human faces, that could be a red flag for a possible autism diagnosis. Yon. Kasi nga, we are social creatures, we are designed to connect with other people. In a more biblical language, it is not good for a man to be alone. We always need to be connected with other people. In a more Maslowian, paano ba pinopronounce yun pag Maslow? In a more hierarchy of needs language, yun na lang, hierarchy of needs language, by nature talaga, kailangan natin ng love and belongingness. And how do we achieve that? Because we have the ability to connect with another human being, and it starts with our ability to remember and recognize human faces. Another thing that babies remember is physical principles. Babies are young physicists. Para silang mga scientists, that they experiment on their own kung ano yung mga physical laws that are at play in our environment. Nakakaintindi na sila ng mga physical laws such as law of causality. That was discovered by a psychologist by the name of Rovi Collier. Very popular na naman tong experiment niya. So, in her laboratory, meron siyang mga babies. Tapos yung mga babies, i-zoom in natin, yung mga paa nila, tinalian, tapos kinabit doon sa toy at the, somewhere at the top of the baby crib. Something like this. Yan. Ito yung mga tumutunog pag ginagalaw mo. 'Di ba? So, the string or the leg of the baby is attached to the toy via the string. O syempre, dahil sisipa yung baby, reflex nila yan, ano mangyayari? Pag sumipa sila, tutunog to. It will generate pleasant sounds that the baby wants to hear. Diba ganun yung mga laruan ng babies, no? It produces soothing sounds for them. So after that, after a certain amount of time, tinanggal na to ni Rovi Collier yung string. And then she observes what babies will do. Now, majority of the babies she studied, whenever, the next time they showed babies this, yung tumutunog, halos lahat ng babies, ang reaction is, sisipa sila. Diba? Because they expect that when they kick, tutunog yung toy na yan that they want to hear. So, what does that tell you? Number one, they already have memory kasi naalala nila na kapag sumipa sila, tutunog yan. And number two, they understand the law of causality. They understand that kicking their leg is the cause and the sound being released by this toy is the effect. Diba? Kaya nakakaintindi sila ng law of cause and effect during this time, infancy. And their knowledge of the physical laws at work in this world, lalong nagiging sophisticated yan, especially when they gain locomotion. Kapag nakaka-crawl na sila, kapag nakaka-walk na sila, when they begin to explore their environment, lahat na lang ng libro, kinukuha nila, pinupunit nila, sinisira na nila yung mga appliances in the house. The reason why they're doing this is because they're trying to figure out how physical laws are at work. Kaya nga sabi ng mga developmental psychologists, babies are indeed young physicists. They do a lot of experiments. So kapag marami kayo nasisirang mga gamit because the babies keep on exploring these things, part yon ng education nila sa mga sarili nila to understand the physical world. O kaya naiintindihan na rin nila yung konsepto ng bowling, as you can see on the picture. Alam nila na kapag binato mo ng bola, yung mga nakatayo na yan, tutumba. How did they discover that? Through their own experiments, especially when they already gained their locomotion. O, kaya ang isang application dito in connection to that, no, we need to support the baby's intellectual development. Yan. Because babies during this time are very hungry for learning. Remember, along the way, no, habang curious yung mga babies during this time, the brain is so hungry for knowledge as reflected by the increasing neural connections. Kaya yung curiosity ng mga babies, yun yung explanation nun. Because the neural connections are interconnecting with each other. As a result, babies become curious to the environment. O kaya ang application dito, number 1, dapat yung mga babies nilalagay natin sa stimulating environment. Meaning, they can learn a lot of things in their environment. As much as possible, the 5 senses must be engaged. Marami silang naririnig, marami silang nahawakan, iba-iba yung amoy na nasa-sense nila, so on and so forth. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng stimulating environment. Yung 5 senses nahihit doon sa environment where the baby is in. You know? And number 2, let them explore. Huwag natin masyadong i-baby yung mga baby, sabi nga nila. 'Di ba? Let the babies explore the environment on their own. Again, this is their way of exploring the physical laws that they are in. Yun nga lang, syempre dapat, as you allow the babies to explore, matindi dapat yung pagbabantay mo to prevent any accidents. Yun. So, yun ang mga ano natin, no? Natutunan natin about infant memory. Okay? Very active na ang memory during infancy. Now, let's move on to infant emotions. So, let me establish this, no? Babies already have emotions. Contrary to some popular beliefs that babies don't feel anything, according to studies, they are already capable of experiencing primary emotions, such as anger, joy, love, fear, sadness. Ito yung basic emotions that babies feel. Again, we call that primary emotions. Later on, kapag nag-socialize na sila with other people, as they become educated by the society, mas magiging sophisticated na yung emotions. From primary emotions, magiging secondary emotions, which I'm going to discuss as we go along in my lectures. But one of the things na talagang matinding pinag-aralan during infancy in connection to emotions is their temperament. This is where we get the word temper. Ibig sabihin ng temper, ito yung profile mo on how you react and how you control your emotions. Kapag may sunog in the environment, how do you react? Kapag nagagalit ka sa isang tao, how do you control your anger? So yung dalawang yon, your reaction and the way you control your emotions makes up your temperament. And one of the most popular researchers in connection to infant temperament would be Thomas and Chess. They studied thousands and thousands of babies via observation, specifically their temper. And based on their research, they were able to categorize babies into 3 according to what kind of temper they have. So sabi ni Thomas and Chess, 3 daw ang categories ng mga babies in connection to what temper they have. Number 1, may mga easy babies. Number 2, may difficult babies. Number 3, may slow to warm up babies. Yan. You can just read the profile of these babies on your own. Alright? But what's important to learn here is temper, according to Thomas and Chess, is biological. You are born with a certain profile of temper. So, pinanganak ka ng easy baby, difficult baby, or slow to warm up baby. And it has something to do with how your nervous system reacts to the things in your environment. At yung programming ng nervous system mo, determined yan ng genetics ng nanay at tatay mo. Yon, kaya hindi mo makokontrol yung temper mo. Pero, kahit na inborn, kahit na genetic yung temperament natin, it can still be shaped by the environment. So kapag ang baby iyakin, pwede mo pang i-train yan para hindi siya maging iyakin. Pwede mo pang i-train yan para maging easy baby. Pero syempre, mas natural sa kanya yung iyakin siya, but it doesn't mean it cannot be modified anymore. Pwede pa rin. Yon. Okay? And that kind of temper, whatever temper profile that you have as a baby, studies show you carry that over to the next developmental stages. So, yun na ngayon yung magiging foundation of personality differences. Bakit ang mga tao iba-iba ng ugali? Iba-iba tayo ng pakikipag-usap to other people. Iba-iba tayo ng pag-handle ng stress. Iba-iba tayo ng nararanasang impact when anxiety comes. Why? It all starts with what kind of temper that we have. Yon. Another emotional issue among infants, yung tinatawag nating attachment. Diba? Well, kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung attachment, we're talking about social emotions of babies, because attachment has something to do with what you feel about your caretaker, what you generally feel about other people. And according to research, ang attachment ng babies nahahati rin sa tatlo, just like temperament. Easy, difficult, slow to warm up. Pero kapag attachment na pinag-uusapan, sila Mary Ainsworth na to, no, nag-aral ng infant attachment, tatlo rin daw yan. Secure attachment, insecure avoidant attachment, insecure resistant attachment. Again, anong ibig sabihin ng infant attachment? How babies generally feel about other people, lalong-lalo na sa mga caregivers nila. Yun. At merong test na ginagawa dyan para malaman kung anong klaseng attachment meron ang baby sa caretaker niya. Anong tawag sa test na yon? It's called the Strange Situation Test. You can just read that on your own. Maraming videos yan sa YouTube para malaman ninyo how the Strange Situation Test is being applied. But then again, yung test na yan, bakit ginagawa? Para malaman natin anong klaseng attachment meron ang baby sa ibang tao. But in connection to infant attachment, this is very interesting. Studies show that the type of infant attachment that the baby has long-term personality effects. Kaya nagmamatter. Dapat inaalam natin kung anong klaseng attachment meron ang baby sa caretaker niya or sa ibang tao in general. Like to be more specific, according to studies, babies who are securely attached to their caregivers or to other people many years after, in general, maganda ang social outcomes. Babies who are securely attached are more likely to be successful in the society. They are less prone to have psychological disorders, and overall, they have healthy, lasting relationships with other people. Kung i-connect mo dito si Erik Erikson, ibig sabihin, kapag ang baby securely attached with the caregivers, na-establish nila yung ability to trust. Remember the first stage of Erik Erikson in his theory, trust versus mistrust. Dahil maganda ang connection ng baby sa ibang tao, especially the caregiver, the baby feels loved, the baby feels accepted, the baby feels he or she is taken well cared for. Na-develop yung trust sa baby, kaya ang prediction, overall, in the future, magiging okay yung pag-establish niya ng mga new relationships. Again, Erik Erikson, trust versus mistrust. So how do you enhance the trust of the baby? Anong gagawin mo para hindi siya mapunta sa mistrust? Yon. Kailangan securely attach yung baby to the caregiver. But the question is how? Paano mo ma-ensure na yung baby magiging secure yung attachment niya with the caregiver, leading to the development of trust? Diyan ngayon papasok yung dalawang psychological elements. As the caregiver, you have to continuously express warmth and consistency to the baby. Warmth, ibig sabihin, pinupuno mo siya ng affection. Nararamdaman ng baby na mahal mo siya. Nararamdaman ng baby na napapataas mo yung positive emotions niya. Napapatawa mo siya, nilalambing mo siya, nilalaro mo siya. The more positive emotions that you give to the infant, the more warmth the infant feels. Yung consistency naman, ito yung ability mo to respond, to give what the baby needs. So kapag yung baby umiyak, nandun ka kaagad to do something para bumaba yung negative emotions niya. The more consistent you are in doing that, tuwing umiiyak siya, tuwing na-anxious siya, nandun ka, most likely, na-develop mo yung secure attachment mo with the baby, leading to a sense of trust, according to Erik Erikson. Yon. Kasi the more na binibigay mo yung dalawang elements na yan, warmth and consistency, you are sending a message to the baby, pre-verbal message to the baby, that you can trust other people, that human beings are good beings. So you can trust them. You can establish relationship with them. You can talk to them. You can connect with them. Diba? Yun yung isa sa mga mahalagang communication that happens during infancy between the baby and the caregiver. Kaya, in connection to consistency, no, hindi totoo yung idea galing sa mga lolo at lola natin na kapag ang baby raw umiiyak, wag daw tayong laging tawag doon, laging nagre-respond. Tuwing gutom, wag daw natin laging pinapakain kasi baka raw ma-spoiled. Yun, hindi totoo yun. In fact, the more you respond to the baby's needs, the more you are enhancing a very important psychological trait of the baby, which is again going back to Erik Erikson's theory, which is to trust. Basta ang baby may kailangan, in distress, kailangan nandun ang caregiver. Kaya in connection to this, no, let's reverse the idea. Kapag ang baby walang warmth, walang consistency na nararanasan, pupunta siya doon sa mistrust. And according to studies, those babies who are under mistrust, insecurely attached with a caregiver, whether it's avoidant or dalawang klase yun whether it's avoidant or resistant, fast forward, hindi nagiging maganda yung mga social outcomes nila. Right? Like for example, ito, yung mga ganyang babies na nakakaranas ng ganyan, no? Yung tinatapon sila sa basura, kahit na hindi pa sila nakakaintindi ng language, pero implicitly they know they are not valued kasi tinapon sila sa basura. And a lot of these babies, bakit sila ginanon? Karamihan na gumagawa nito mga teenage mothers according to studies. Wala silang enough resources to take care of their babies, natatakot sila na pagagalitan sila ng magulang nila na meron na silang baby, so marami tinatapon na lang sa basura yung mga infants. That's a big blow psychologically to these infants. Tapos, ang ending niyan, yung mga babies na to pupunta sa mga orphanages wherein ang bababa ng ganyang mga elements nila doon. 'Di ba? Wala masyadong warmth coming from people. Inconsistent yung pang-respond ng mga tao in an orphanage. 'Di ba? So, wala, mababa yung kanilang warmth, mababa yung consistency. Ano mangyayari? Mapupunta sila doon sa mistrust ni Erik Erikson. They become insecurely attached to other people. And having insecure attachment to other people will have negative social consequences. Specifically, according to studies, fast forward, yung mga babies na insecurely attached, many years after, more likely to develop psychological disorders. Number one dyan ang depression. They are more likely to take their own lives. They are more likely to drop out from school. And they are more likely to have unstable relationships. Napaka-unstable ng romantic relationships nila, or in the future, kapag kinasal sila, most likely, they're gonna get divorced or annulled. Nagigets ninyo? Yun. Tsaka, another interesting behavior na can be traced to insecure attachment of infants is merong mga tao na i-inlove sila sa mga may asawa. According to personality psychologists, most likely the explanation there is kaya mo gusto ng may asawa, kaya gusto mo ng mga taong committed na kasi father figure mo yon na hindi mo naranasan when you were younger. Walang nag-respond sa'yo consistently. Walang nagbigay sa'yo ng emotional warmth, especially coming from a father. So, nung nakita mo yung taong may asawa, ayun, medyo nagising yung ganong deprivation mo. But then again, no, that is not a healthy form of relationship. Yung makipagrelasyon ka sa may asawa na. So, that pattern of behavior can be traced to that person being insecurely attached when he or she was just a baby. Ayun. Kaya in summary, ano yung mga dapat na meron, mga psychological elements that should be present for a positive infant development? The following things. Dapat merong nutrition, merong warmth, consistency, the baby should feel secure, and ito, medyo controversial to, no? Dapat din, in a way, inaayos na rin yung spirituality nung baby. Although this is still a very young field to explore. Ang mga babies ba meron ng spirituality? Well, there is a growing number of research na meron na. But we will talk about that in some other lectures, no? Basta, ito yung mga elements that will ensure that the development of babies during infancy will be positive. Kaya ang connection nito, ang application nito, I mean is, how about those babies in orphanages? Diba? Ito yung dapat natin ayusin kasi kawawa talaga yung mga babies dyan. So what we need to do is to develop laws or policies that will help improve these things inside an orphanage. Paano natin mai-improve yung nutrition, warmth, consistency, simulation, security, spirituality ng isang orphanage para naman yung mga babies dito umayos-ayos yung trajectory of development. Mas mag-improve din naman yung mga buhay nila kahit wala silang mga parents who can take care of them. Yan, kaya isa yan dapat sa mga advocacy ng isang psych major, lalong-lalo na interested sa developmental psychology. So you can just challenge yourself here. What particular changes orphanages can make? What certain laws should our senators, should our congressmen pass to improve the state of orphanages, specifically by increasing these things? Diba? That's a good question to ask. Okay? So that ends my short lecture on infancy. If you have any questions, comments, or some other examples, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section. Sana nakatulong tong lecture video na to. Sir Howard here. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.